Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
As we welcome you to the PXG Custom Studios, log on to PXG.com and you can check out this new Mustang ZT putter with the revolutionary zero torque design and a blade profile, and that is to resist twisting and also add to enhanced feel. Hello and welcome one and all from wherever around the globe you're joining us today. I am still on the road. We have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be hearing from Michael Brennan in just a second with his remarkable victory this past weekend to start his PGA Tour career with a win after only 3 wins. We'll hear him explain that in just a moment. But then we're going to bring in an expert, a player who has won multiple times amongst the professional ranks in the form of Carl Paulson. You probably know his work as well from SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. And what we're going to seek to do is kind of wrap up some of the lingering questions towards the end of the year. For example, player of the year. Who would you have? Scotty or Rory? Does 2 majors trump the capping of the career Grand Slam? As an example, we'll go down that road and talk about that more. Plus, Andrew, put up this graphic that we have of all these great players and the seasons that they've had in 2025, right? This is PGA Tour, this is DP World Tour, this is LIV, and then on the other side, you can see the official world golf rankings as they exist right now. If, for example, we take PGA Tour, and I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler out of the following: Rory, Sepp, Russell Henley, Justin Thomas. And I say Rory in there, and people will be like, they don't even heard the question, be like, what do you mean? Rory's in there. Yes, I'll take Rory. Well, Rory's won 1 major in the last 11 years. But if I ask you a question, if we went forward, you tell me the time frame, 3 years, 5 years, I'll ask Carl. 3 years, 5 years, who would you see of this list that you'd be like, no, that's if you only had a couple to pick. Those are the players that I would say will win 3 or more majors from this point. It's hard to choose, isn't it? It's a lot harder than you think it would be because 3 majors are incredibly rare. But if you had to look at this list, and I don't care if you go off the official world golf rankings or you go off the best of the best on the individual tours that we've identified here, the top 5 in each of those tours. And again, I took Scotty out for obvious reasons, and we'll get to that as well. Who would you pick? So those are the type of directions that we're going to be going down in today's show. You can always weigh in on it on the Fairways of Life YouTube page. Just log on there and send us your messages, and Dom will feed them along when we can. Dom also has a question of the day in there. Dom, what did you put in for the question of the day today? Does it relate to this stuff that's these directions that I want to go down?
It does, yeah. I mean, right now, I might shapeshift in the middle of the show, but right now it's just who is the player of the year, Rory or Scotty. It seems like a no-brainer, but when you really think about it, I'm interested to see what Carl thinks, because maybe it's not a no-brainer.
Well, we're going to get into that. We're interested in what Carl thinks. We're interested in what you guys think as well. As to Michael Brennan, the Wake Forest product, he won 8 times when he was at Wake Forest, which I think puts him tied for 3rd. I know it ties him on the all-time win list alongside of Curtis Strange, some pretty good company to be keeping. He's keeping company as well, in which he is only the 7th to have won on the PGA Tour in his 3rd start, going all the way back, 55 years? Think about that for a second, because when you go back that far, now you're starting to go back to the very start of the PGA Tour as it currently exists. And you think about all the players that have played during that time frame, and only 7 have accomplished what he now has a piece of with his victory this past weekend at the Bank of Utah Championship. Incredible. 3rd start for Michael. So he spoke to the media, and the questions that he was asked included, obviously describing the emotions that he's going through at that moment. Also, what he's done over the course of, call it 3 months. Last time I was on with you guys in this forum, we were talking about players having a career in a 3 months stanza. Well, he's had an unbelievable performance in that 3 months, including being capped off by winning for the first time in the PGA Tour. So he was asked about that. He mentioned in the presser, and it's a reason why John grabbed this and we put it in the sound, John Burkett, was his mental mindset, where he places himself when he's competing on the golf course. His agent tells him to put him into the mindset of just play River Creek. That's his home course. And when he puts himself there emotionally, he can settle down and perform. Think about that. He also admitted that he's much better with his focus, etc., than he has been. He was asked the appropriate question too, that does this feel like a dream? Does this even feel real to you with what you have accomplished? And all of this kind of sets the table for the conversation that surely we're going to have with Carl about the young players and where we're at today. And I've asked you guys this question many times before. Does it feel like we're in a modern golden age of competitive golf with what's going on the tours? I mean, say 2 years ago, the conversation was dominated by, Live and PGA Tour and DP World Tour, and would they all mesh and what would happen? And then the thing that happened is the thing that always seems to happen in the game of golf, is that the players let their clubs speak. And we right now are in an era where we're seeing absolutely remarkable things done by the best players in the world. And that stands in sometimes contrast to the fact that the game of golf, otherwise the business side of the game, the 99.99%, the part that all of you define, is booming. And that's great, because for a long time, I always had to put caveats on there and say, what's happening at the top tier of the game competitively does not reflect golf as an industry overall. That's you guys that reflect golf as an industry overall. And it has been booming. So are the two roads kind of converging in terms of the good times rolling? Depends on how you define it, I suppose. We'll go down that road as well. But first, let's hear from Michael and his reaction to winning this past weekend.
It's a little difficult right now. It's it's amazing. But yeah, I have to thank the tournament director and their exemption crew to get me in this week. It means a lot. I think my agent Terry did. I know he put a lot of work in to get me a start, and look how it's turned out. It paid out pretty good. So yeah, very excited. Played some good golf. It's I don't know. It's a little tough. It's something I work for, and I felt like I'd been playing good for a while, and I feel like maybe I have an idea of what clicked, but I'm really not 100% sure. So, but I'll take it and hope to continue playing solid golf. Yeah, I thought about it several times because I was quite a bit nervous, but it definitely helped calm me down a little bit. But my caddy did a great job of trying to keep me present and keep me in the moment and just go play River Creek. But yeah, it was good.
Do you mind telling me again who specifically was that texts you that regularly?
That guy in the pink right there. He flew out this morning, and I met him on the first tee. He didn't tell me, so I didn't know. But yeah, yesterday when I told you, my agent, that's him. Oh, 100%. It's been my dream for a very long time to play on the PGA Tour and win on the PGA Tour. So yeah, it feels amazing to do it. Just very thankful to even be in the field this week. I mean, it ended out pretty good. Hell yeah. I mean, I was nervous the entire round. There were moments of maybe more confidence and less, and that definitely kind of maybe woke me up a bit. I felt like I played some really good golf following that 10th hole. Played 11 solid, 12 solid, 13 and 14 were really solid. But yeah, Rico played really, really well today, and he did not make it easy. I think when he made that putt on 12 and we shared birdies, that was kind of a bit of a cool moment. Gave Nux on 13T, just because we knew that we were both playing some pretty good golf that day, and it was a fun battle.
Unbelievable play by Michael Brennan, and full credit to him. Rico got within 3 at one point, but ultimately Michael was able to cruise home, being introduced right before our eyes to one of the young players that could be so much more. And he's one of those players that when you see his golf swing, kind of Ludwig is the same way, where you watch it and you go, yeah, this player has something different. This is special. He was 3rd in the field for the week in distance, but he led in strokes gained off the tee, and he also led in strokes gained total, the latter of which I'm sure doesn't surprise you when he comes away with as commanding a victory as it ultimately was. Okay, folks, when we come back, Carl Paulson will join us because we want to dive into these stories. I know you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it. I'll probably open next segment and get an update from Dom on the question of the day that he sent out there. Again, if you log on to the Fairways of Life YouTube page, you can vote accordingly of whether you have Scotty or whether you have Rory, and we'll go down the road discussing the same. Cannot wait. Ben Hogan Golf is back. I know you've heard the cliche. Someone say it's back and better than ever, but in this case, it's true. They've got the equipment, and the name is etched right in the metal of this legend. I know you'd be proud to have Ben Hogan golf equipment in your golf bag, but you're going to be equally as excited because the equipment that they're making today has all of the classic look that make them works of art, just like they always have been. But now they also have absolutely exceptional technology to help you play your very, very best. Log on to benhogangolf.com for more of the Fairways of Life show right after this.
Head down, water down the left, bunker down the right, take the club straight back.
Wandering minds. When golfers lose their focus, they're totally... But Bridgestone can help. Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused. First, identify your target. Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
See what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own style.
We swing our own swing.
We have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Middle market businesses are facing unprecedented shifts, which demand tailored solutions and decisive action. RSM stands as the unwavering leader of the middle market, empowering you to take charge of change and conquer this era of transformation. RSM. Experience the power of being understood.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show, time now for the Flight Scope. Did you know? We're going to be talking about what you just saw there, career highlights of Scotty Scheffler. This is the Flight Scope i4 range finder. Yep, use the magnets, put it right onto the golf cart frame. But it does so much. It is redefining rangefinders because it has information that goes way beyond just from you to the target, including those personalized club recommendations. Not sure what club to hit, take it into account slope, take it into account elevation, take it into account wind, take it into account things including even humidity and more. There's nothing else like the i4 rangefinder. Log on to flightscope.com for more. Now, more about Scotty Scheffler, because it is so remarkable. Look at the stretch that he's on right now. His last 40 events, he's had 14 wins, including 3 majors, a gold medal, a Players, a Tour championship, and winning the FedEx Cup. And along the way, he's had 34 top 10s. His win percentage during this stretch is 35%. His top 10 percentage, are you ready for this? 85%. Let me compare that just for a second to Tiger. Tiger's career win percentage was 23%. From 96 to 2009, that was the peak for Tiger. His winning percentage was 30%, in which he won 71 times in 239 starts. Incredible. During his peak run, he won 25% of the majors that he teed it up. So as we say many times with Scotty Scheffler, the things that he's doing right now are absolutely remarkable. However, they're not yet to the level of Tiger Woods, because you have to start to get to gross numbers, not only percentages along the way, but the percentages along the way right now are indeed incredibly impressive. Carl Paulson, I promised you right along he's going to join us, and he is right now. Surely you know Carl's work, Inside the Ropes. He hosts it on PGA Tour Radio. That's on Sirius XM alongside of Dennis Paulson. Carl is also a veteran campaigner amongst the professional ranks, having won multiple times in that capacity as well. How are you, my friend? Welcome to the show.
I'm well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. A little blurry-eyed, a little foggy. I stayed up and watched that baseball game. Well, 2 of those baseball games, evidently, 18 innings last night. So, pardon the voice, but yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, the Dodgers are ahead. If any of you are waking up and going, well, what happened? What's he talking about? They won the game 6-5 when it was all said and done. Okay, so Carl, let me jump into this and be very selfish about asking you to answer the question in a particular way first as a setup. Make an argument for me for Rory McIlroy to be the player of the year.
I can't. Look, he accomplished something that only 7 people have done in the history of this game, and it's fantastic. Winning the Masters. In fact, he won the Masters 4 times because he lost it 4 times on Sunday as well. He put us through the ringer. Gave us all heart palpitations watching him try to complete that. It was a fantastic year for Rory, but there's no comparison in my mind. I'm sorry, I can't make an argument for Rory for Player of the Year.
Dom, what are we hearing from the people right now with your question of the day of who you got for Player of the Year, Scotty or Rory?
Well, they haven't. The people watching likely have not won on tour like Carl. So, grain of salt here, folks. But 62% of Carl are saying Rory. And we're getting 62%. Comments coming in. Yes, comments coming in around the weight of winning the Grand Slam and finally collecting that Masters. Derek writes, it's Rory because it's been nearly 20 years since Tiger completed his. Wayne writes, it's Rory because he had a huge load on his back in the Masters and then winning that Grand Slam because of it. And then I would add, if I'm playing devil's advocate, Carl, doesn't winning an away Ryder Cup have – it's got to play. It factors, right? It has to be a factor.
I mean, yeah, it's a factor, I guess. But look – you can't punish one guy because the other guy's got a bunch of stuff going on and he's got the weight of the world on his back. You know, I mean, if Freddie Freeman was going through a bunch of stuff at home, and would you give him more credit for that home run last night? No. Look, this is all about what happens on the field, what happens on the court, and what happens on the course. And Scotty Scheffler is head and shoulders better than everybody else on the tour, and in my opinion, he proved it again this year.
Yeah, I actually, Dom, you already know this because we've argued about this on the air. I totally agree with Carl. That's why I tried to force him into a different direction and say, make an argument for Rory winning it. Because like I said, I agree with you that I just, regardless of the weight of winning the Masters, I get that it accomplished the career Grand Slam. I understand that, but I still don't think that you can take that one win and make it trump winning 2 major championships. Half the majors are on the mantle of Scotty Scheffler right now. So what Rory did was absolutely remarkable. And it kind of goes to this question that I have, the broader question here. And for those of you that are listening on the radio side, Rory's run of his last 45 global events, he's at 8 wins, including the Masters, the Players, the Race to Dubai as well. And he likely is going to do the Race to Dubai again. 23 top 10s along the way. In 2025, in 19 events so far, he has 4 wins, including that Masters. He has 10 top 10s in 2024. In 26 events, he had 4 wins and 13 top 10s. So he definitely has found something right now. Just as an aside, let me pivot off Rory for a second. Rory McIlroy is clearly going through a lot of things in life. They've moved back to home in London, outside for their new home in London, I should say, outside of Wentworth. Rory McIlroy did win that away Ryder Cup. There's so many things that Rory has done that before them he has told us, well, if I accomplish this, I might just hang it up and cruise. From this point on, do you think everything that Rory has recently accomplished, does it give him more motivation to push? Or are we in one of these lulls that we've seen sometimes through Rory's career where it seems like maybe he's not as motivated as he was at other times? Which Rory do you think we're going to see in the immediate future?
Well, that's a good question, especially with all the money that these guys have made over the last 10 or 15 years with all the prize money and endorsement money going up. That was a question that I had when we started seeing these giant sums of money that these players were receiving, is how motivated are they going to stay? Are they going to be guys that play 8-10 years, go buy a ranch and never to be heard from again? Or are they, internally motivated to be the best and get pissed off if somebody's beating them? Scotty, I have a feeling, is more the latter. I'm not 100% sure about Rory. Obviously, he's a competitor. Rory is one of the best players, maybe the best player of his era, if you separate these two by age. But I don't know. I'm not inside of his head. I don't know how much motivation he has left to put in the hard work that needs to be done to beat a guy like Scotty Scheffler. And he's proven that he still has the game. You're talking about the physical side, but life changes. You get married, you have kids, your kids get to school age, and things change. They sometimes change for the better for players on the golf course, and sometimes they change. And I won't say for the worse, because it's not worse. It's family. Then nothing's more important than family. But sometimes, people want to be home more and be more of a dad and coach Little League and all that stuff. So not quite sure what we're going to see out of Rory, especially with some of the things that he said and the move that he's making to London. But it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah, there's another element to it too. And certainly when we think about Jack Nicklaus, Scotty as yet, Rory for most of his career, is that these players, Tiger being kind of an aberration, at least mid to late in his career, that most of these players, the top players of all time, have been blessed to have not been dealing with massive injury concerns. Mm-hmm. And Rory, for the most part, the ankle that he hurt before the Open 1 year, et cetera, they pretty much have been fortunate, Carl, that they haven't been hindered by huge issues. And a huge issue usually is defined, admittedly, by the back, other than Tiger Woods. How much is that a consideration when you look at players, especially given your own history with back issues, that you watch golfers and say, well, I just hope they stay strong and they stay healthy?
Well, it's a massive issue, and to add to that is the speeds that these guys are swinging the golf club at. They're being taught to swing as hard as they can on every single shot. Now, listen, when you're going 125, 130 miles an hour down through impact to absolute zero at the end of your golf swing in a matter of fractions of a second, that takes a lot of muscle, that takes a lot of strength, that takes a lot of flexibility, and the big question is, we've seen all these guys doing speed training now. We're seeing young guys, David Ford, the kid from UNC who won the PGA Tour U, he's 5'8". He can't be more than $150. He led the tournament last week in driving distance. So it's not all about brawn and about muscles and strength. It's about speed. And anytime you're creating that much speed from a static start to a static finish, there's going to be some injuries. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see in the next 5 to 10 years how long some of these players play. Will Rory play until he's 50 years old, like Stuart Sink did, and like some of the players did from my era that were good enough to play up until their 50th birthday and then go play on the Champs Tour? I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of that, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think these bodies are going to be broken down a whole lot more than they were in my generation.
Fascinating stuff from Carl Paulson. We will continue with it as the Fairways of Life show continues here today. As I mentioned to you, you can log on to our YouTube page, Fairways of Life YouTube page, and you can weigh in on the question of the day, which is who have you got, Scotty or Rory for Player of the Year? Carl Paulson has told us it is definitively Scotty Scheffler. In his view, that has not been the view from all of you as yet. 62% the last time we checked in with Dom saying that, no, Rory McIlroy should get it because of the career Grand Slam. What I didn't have time to ask Dominic about is that my guess is it always happens at the start of the show. The majority of the responses coming in are coming in from outside of the United States, from around the rest of the globe, and it influences the early voting. We'll see how it settles out as the day progresses, and we progress here on the Fairways of Life show. When you get a chance, check out NewtonGolfCo.com, because it may be for the first time ever that you actually feel load in your golf swing, taking the club up to the top of your swing because of their elongated load profile. You actually can come into the golf ball with that inert energy just waiting to explode into it. You may not need a new driver. You might just need a new golf shaft. Check it out today.
This is golf.
A shot, honey.
And this is Golf's Superstore.
Oh, yeah, we'll take this.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Rome clubs are costing you strokes. PXG can fix that for an amazing new price. PXG Black Ops drivers, double gold winning, effortless distance, and game-changing forgiveness. PXG Gen 7 irons, unmatched quality, precision, and a feel so pure you'll never want to swing anything else. Save your season and save with incredible new pricing on Black Ops and Gen 7. Book your fitting now. PXG, you've never played like this before.
Imagine your ultimate golf experience. There's a good chance it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. 11 spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, varied in both topography and play. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025. And the Highlands at Harbor Springs is the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
This is golf, and this is Golf Superstore, the only place you can walk in for a free driver fitting, have it built, and tee it up the same day. Try Fit and Go today.
We're back on the Fairways of Life. Matt, guess what? Carl's influencing the voting. I'm sure you never saw that coming. We are now neck and neck, sort of 50%. And you're not wrong about the early stages. I mean, we had guys like that one comment I read in from Derek. Derek was writing in from Morocco, Matt, if you can believe it, which is interesting. But I'm going to lead you guys. This is terrible producing. Andrew, can you put up the top 40, the 40 and older guys? Because Carl mentioned backs and age, and I just think it's really interesting. I had Andrew put this together a few hours ago. I'm not sure where to go with it, Matt, but I find it really interesting that some guys, when they hit 40, and maybe it's the internal motivation that Carl was talking about, they seem to propel forward. And you can see there with Justin Rose, especially the last couple years, he's really been playing some of his best golf, maybe ever. And then you see on the right-hand side there, guys that hit their 40s that, I mean, again, it may be a bit abrasive, but they sort of fizzled out a little bit. Where does that come from? Why does that happen? Is there a difference? Because I think you could argue that the health and fitness and the diet is the best it's ever been in the last 40 years on the tour.
Well, Andrew, hold that up there for a second, that graphic, as we bring Carl Paulson back in. You can hear Carl on PGA Tour Live, which is on ESPN Plus, as one of the lead analysts. You can hear his show, Inside the Ropes, and Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. He's won multiple times amongst the professional ranks when he was out there as a player. I mean, Carl, when I look at Justin Rose, almost fittingly by himself on the side of that graphic, I mean, isn't he like sleeping in oxygen chambers, and he's always been so devoted to his fitness? I don't know, with Justin, it doesn't quite surprise me as much that at 45 years old, he plays and looks like he's 30.
It's very true. Look, I have a 27-year-old son. If he did all of the stuff that Justin Rose is doing, he would be completely yoked. Justin Rose has to do that just to stay where he is. The age cutoff is 41 years old. After 41 years old, if you don't do anything, and I'm talking about working out or whatever, you're going to lose like 10% of your speed year after year after year. And you've got to work very hard just to stay at that level that you're at 41 years old. That's the average. Obviously, it's different for different people. Justin Rose has taken good care of his body, and yes, he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, sleeping in these chambers that you're talking about, and ice baths and all of that. And that's what he has to do to stay competitive at 45 years old. It is just a body thing. Your body starts breaking down, especially these guys that have put their bodies through the ringer for 15, 20, 25 years. I mean, Justin Rose turned pro when he was 18 years old, and he has been doing this. The golf swing is a very unnatural sports movement for the body. And if you're not in great shape, it's going to take its toll. And I know from, I know all about this, having had multiple back surgeries and neck surgeries. So it's very important that these guys do whatever it takes to stay in good health.
Yeah, that's one of those conversations that I always like to have with guys like yourself, Carl, where, we know if the top player has a hangnail, we hear about it. And it's usually, crafted in very dramatic ways that they're battling through some form of physical trauma on that particular week. But isn't almost every player that's out there dealing with something because you're taking a club and slamming it into Mother Earth over and over again?
Yeah, you're taking a steel rod with a piece of iron at the end of it and smashing into the ground millions and millions of times. I mean, that sounds medieval and barbaric. It kind of is if you think about what it does to the body. But I agree with you. I think that everybody is dealing with certain little nags, whether it's a sore back, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. we don't need to hear about it, right? We don't need to hear about the hangnails. Everybody's dealing with this kind of stuff, and I think they are a little dramatic at times when it comes to these injuries and illnesses that they have. But it's part of life. You've got to play hurt. Yeah, you talk about Johnny Bench and Pete Rose and those guys that played in the Major League Baseball. In Major League Baseball over the years, they all played hurt. They don't really do that anymore because there's so much money in it. But it's an interesting topic because, again, I don't think the careers are going to be quite as long as they used to be, and there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, once again, bring it up to baseball. You could tell that Carl was up till 3 a.m. watching the end of that game. But if you talk to the old timers, we'll talk like the old timers that were pitchers, and they talk about the frequency that they used to have to pitch compared to the rest that the rotation gets today. And golfers don't really have that. I mean, especially this time of year. And I'd love for you to weigh in on this time of year for a second, because I realize it's FedEx Cup fall, and golf has this kind of almost peculiar way that to the world we say, no, this is our tour championship, and we're wrapping it up here at the end of the summer. This is a big deal. We're wrapping a bow around it, but that's not the end of the season. The season continues. And for those that are kind of inside the game, I get all fired up about it because I'm seeing what's going on with this battle to get inside the top 100. And you look at how many of the top 10 last week that fought their way inside of the top 100. This is, even though I wasn't crazy on my part, you weigh in as you see fit, Carl, I wasn't crazy about going from 125 down to 100. It is what it is. And I do love to see when the game of golf becomes very much of you eat what you kill. And if you want to get inside that top 100, you've got to have a killer mentality. Where do you fall?
Well, look, golf is the purest form of capitalism there is. You go out there, you perform, and you are rewarded for it. If you don't, you're not, and somebody will take your spot. I like the fall events because of the storylines we get: a Michael Brennan, a Ford, Rico Hoey playing his tail off in the fall. It's great. But I hate to say this, Matt, and this is just a hunch. I don't have any inside information. If you didn't like that move from 125 to 100, buckle up, because I don't think we're done.
You mean the merits of getting harder and harder and tighter? The question I would have to that would be, is this about the argument to say the rich get richer? And I don't mean that in terms of their physical fortunes. I mean in terms of the rewards of being one of the top players. And does that, whether we're talking about limited fields, et cetera, does that rob us of the opportunity to see some of these stories that you're talking about for people such as myself that like to see the ascent?
I would answer that with a yes and a no. Yes, it robs us of watching a Michael Brennan win. But if they take the proper steps, if the tour takes the proper steps, in my opinion, and puts some money and some revenue and some resources into a Korn Ferry Tour, or if the PGA Tour ends up doing, 15 signature events and then the rest of them are regular tour events, whatever that next level is down, if they put some resources and money into that and those guys are playing for $4 or $5 million, no, I think we'll still get those stories. I think we'll still get, somebody won a PGA Tour event. Was it a signature event? No, but it was a PGA Tour event or a Korn Ferry Tour event or whatever that tour is. I think we'll still get those great storylines. But in my opinion, I think the tour with the new leadership is potentially trying to make golf a little bit more like football. They want a little bit more of an off season. They want people to want it more. I mean, look how fired up we get in July because football is only 6 weeks away. We just don't get that in golf at all. I mean, we're playing all the way up until. Well, yeah, of course, but we're playing all the way up until November, and then we start right after the new year. I mean, the break is just, it's really small, and that's fine. Golf is different than all the other sports. It's fine for it to be like that. It's going to be very interesting to see the direction and the path that this administration is taking the tour in the next 3 to 5 years. Look, I was, when we first went to we're going to start with strokes. When we first started the playoffs, I poo-pooed that stuff right off the bat, and they worked out. Both of them worked out. Now we've changed it, and we're going in a different direction right now. That's fine. So I'm gonna wait and see on the smaller fields and the number of players that keep their cards, and see what happens with these guys from the DP World Tour, from the Korn Ferry Tour, and from Q School. Will they get more opportunities? We don't need 200 people to have PGA Tour cards. Having a PGA Tour card is supposed to be the elite of the elite. And that might sound weird from a guy that was struggling to keep his card throughout his career on the tour. But as a guy that covers the game now, I don't think I'm not as upset with the playing opportunities going down for a lot of these players as some of the other ex-players are, and some of the players that are out there are right now, because yes, the PGA Tour is the elite of the elite, and I think that making it a little bit harder to get on tour is not a bad thing. Does it help the product is the question. You take 25 guys, let's just say the bottom 25 guys out of 175 guys, and you say, okay, you can't play on tour anymore. Well, what's that going to do for the next level down? That's going to make that next level down that much better. But we have to put resources into that next level down for this to work.
Hey, Carl, 30-year-old Carl Paulson is on line 2. He'd like to talk to you right now.
I could just imagine what he's saying to me.
You know what, though? I like the direction, because the first time I've heard it, I like the direction of saying if the resources are put in there and the quality of competition, because the quality of players have just gotten better and deeper on the Korn Ferry Tour, it almost gives us a 1A and a 1B scenario. Maybe 1A is more focused on the stars of the game, but 1B, we see these battles between players that are trying to emerge to that next level, but the depth of competition is that much better. So I haven't heard that before, but
well,
I think
look,
it's
if you finish 50th on the Korn Ferry Tour and you're making $500,000, then okay, you can sustain that to see how long you can play and how good you can get. If you're making $75,000 finishing 50th on the Korn Ferry Tour, you're not going to be around very long. It's just the cost of living is too high,
and all the rest.
It's travel expenses. If you have a family, you just can't do that on one income. So if they put the resources in, and then look, we might be talking at some point 10, 15, 20 years down the line where people are going to say, oh, that he won 5 times on tour, but he also won 8 times on the Korn Ferry Tour. We just don't say that now, right?
Yeah.
So
but that's interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If they put the resources into that second tier, whatever it is, if it's the PGA Tour, if it's the Korn Ferry Tour, if it's something else, if they put resources into that, look, these guys are playing for $20 million a year, 8 times a year. What if they played for 15 or 18 and they took that $2 or $5 million and put it into a second tier tour and had those guys playing for $3 or $4 million each and every week that they teed it up? I think that now creates playing possibilities instead of just taking them away from these players.
All right, so Andrew, let's throw this graphic back up there one more time. And I'm not going to jump into it right now with Carl. I'm going to use this as a tease as we are going to break. And this is taking a look at the top 5, whether we're talking about the PGA Tour, whether we're talking about the DP World Tour, whether we're talking about LIV. You can see that on the right side of the graphic. And then on the left side is the current official World Golf Rankings, the top 20. If you had to pick it, I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler out of it for the next discussion. If you had to pick players, and I'll ask Carl how many he wants to pick, 3, 4, 5, that will win 3 or more majors in the coming years, let's say a 5-year span, who would you pick? I think it's a lot harder to narrow that down than what you may think when you just take a quick look at this. More of the Fairways of Life show coming up after this.
I got ball fit in 2000 and went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
What does it take to be an original?
Cam knows something about that. So does Chi-Chi, Charlie, and you get it. In 1955, we stepped onto the scene. Now a new generation of pros are wearing the most iconic styles in the game. The fit, the feel, the look. It's all an expression of you. Original Penguin. Here for the good times.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own styles.
We swing our own swing. But we have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
The Rome clubs are costing you strokes. PXG can fix that for an amazing new price. PXG Black Ops drivers, double gold winning, effortless distance, and game-changing forgiveness. PXG Gen 7 irons, unmatched quality, precision, and a feel so pure you'll never want to swing anything else. Save your season and save with incredible new pricing on Black Ops and Gen 7. Book your fitting now. PXG, you've never played like this before.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show, Carl Paulson is our guest. You can find his work on SiriusXM, PGA Tour Radio. His show is called Inside the Ropes. He's also one of the lead analysts for PGA Tour Live, which you can find on ESPN+. Okay, so Carl, let's jump into this. You saw the graphic right before the break. We've put it up a couple of times so far in the show. I haven't had time to dive into it with you, where you've got to the top 5 from the PGA Tour, the top 5 from the DP World Tour, say top 5 from LIV, respectively. PGA Tour, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Sepp Straka, Russell Henley, Justin Thomas. DP World Tour, Rory at the top. Marco Penge, who's won 3 times in that tour this year. Tyrrell Hatton, Christopher Wrighton, Adrien Saudier from France. On the LIV Tour, John Rahm, Joaquin Niemann, Bryson DeChambeau, Sebastian Munoz, and Dean Burmester. The official World Golf top 20 is on the left side of the graphic. So if I take out Scotty Scheffler, because I don't think there's anybody that would question whether Scotty can win 3 more major championships in the next 5 years from where he is right now, what number of players would you like to pick? So if I say 5, is that a fair number for you to pick 5 guys in the next 5 years that will win 3 more majors, regardless if they have any to their credit right now?
Well, I certainly don't think there's 5 guys on this list that are going to win 3 majors in the next 5 years. But there is one guy on this list that stands out, and it is, to me, head and shoulders above everybody else, and that's Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele's played 34 major championships. He's finished in the top 10 in exactly half of those. 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. I believe it's 8 top 5s and 17 top 10s in 34 major championships that he has played. Winning major championships is all about putting yourself in a position to win on Sunday, and nobody does that better than Xander. If I'm picking anybody off of this list to win more majors than everybody else except for Scotty, it's going to be Xander Schauffele. Now, with what Tommy Fleetwood has done, winning the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup, and then winning again on the DP World Tour, you might think that Tommy Fleetwood is a guy that can contend in major championships. He's got that kind of game. I would put him maybe on that list. And if we're looking at a couple of guys that might be long shots to do this, but I think have the talent to do it, of course, you'd look at a Ludwig Oberg. In my opinion, you would look at a Cameron Young. And I am really excited to see Marco Pinch playing on the PGA Tour next year. I think his game is built and suited for the U.S. golf courses much better than it is for the European golf courses. And I'm very excited to see what he's going to do in the next couple of years. But again, that's like pulling a random card out of 52. In my opinion, it would be Xander Schauffele.
Okay, yeah, I would tend to agree with you on Xander because of the body work that he's already demonstrated and the fact that he's gotten longer as he goes. When the putter is on song, it becomes a very, very dangerous combination. But I want to back up to one of the names that you mentioned, Cameron Young. I think what we've seen from the end of the season to the Ryder Cup performance from Cameron Young was incredible. I think back to, Carl, when we were at the Open at Royal Liverpool. And over the final 36 holes, I was assigned to Cam Young. And I came away from it saying, I believe I said it to you, that if he could make a putt inside of 15 feet and a lot of putts inside of 5 feet, in fairness, he would have won that major by at least 5 strokes, maybe closer to 10. That's how good his ball striking was. I've never seen a performance with ball striking like we saw that week. He just couldn't make any putts. He's turned that around somehow this season, and now he's one of the best putters on tour. That is a lethal combination. Could you take us a little deeper in terms of your thoughts about Cameron?
Yeah, certainly. We had Cameron on the show, and it's not only his putting, his personality and his willingness to talk now and to share stories. Very, very quiet guy generally in the past, and after he won his first tournament at Wyndham, we had him on the show, and he was hilarious and joking around with us and having it was almost like the monkey was so big that he got off of his back that it's changed his personality. I asked him, I said, look, there's millions of people listening to this show right now that want to get better with their putting. What is the secret? And unfortunately, everybody out there that's watching and listening right now, it's just hard work. That's what he said. You just put the work in, and he's gotten better. He's gotten better with the putter. He's gotten a little bit worse with the driver, but that doesn't matter because he was so good with the driver before. It's still a lethal weapon. And I think Cam Young, I think we're going to see him win again in 2026, maybe even twice. And look, Cam Young, I think, is the reason why Rory McIlroy didn't win the Open Championship at St. Andrews a couple of years ago, because he pushed Cam Smith so hard at the end of that tournament that Cam Smith ended up winning that Open Championship. But Cam Young has proven that he can contend, and he has the stuff to contend in major championships. And I think with now this newfound love for his putter, imagine that draw, that high draw that he hits 310, 315 yards in the air around Augusta National with a putter that he's confident in. I mean, you just got to think that's a perfect spot for him to play well. And we've seen it in Open Championships. Obviously he's got to hit a few more fairways here and there if he wants to contend in a U.S. Open, but I think he's got that type of game. Now we need to just wait and see if that's going to transfer into wins in major championships.
Yeah, two observations to all that you just said. The first one is, dude, that the putting thing was extremely disappointing. You're always looking for that. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for that secret little. I always say the same thing about great putters. I actually find them to be quite annoying, where you climb the mount and you get up there and you say, "Give me the secret to putting." Dave Stockton has told both of us this many times. He goes, the secret is to not try. Thanks.
Right.
And then the part about the old course, that year, 2022, Cameron Young, a lot of people forget this, par 4 18th. He made a 2 to tie for the lead and forced Cam Smith to make a putt that was about, can you see it on the camera here? It was a good 3.5 feet that he had to make it. It felt a lot like the old video of Doug Sanders back in 1970 with the putt that he missed that forced to go into a playoff the next day with Jack Nicklaus, which Jack Nicklaus crushed him in that next day. And Sanders ended up finishing second in majors 6 times. It was crazy. So, Carl, you mentioned the show. You mentioned that Cam was on with you. We want to just remind everybody again, Inside the Ropes is the name of his show that you can find on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. Could you give us the air times on a weekly basis of how people can find you?
Sure. We did new time this year from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday. So we're 3 hours now, Monday through Wednesday. So we get a good chance to recap the tournaments and preview the one that's coming up. I'm very excited to go down Wednesday to talk to all of the new rookies that are going to be on tour in 2026. So you'll hear some of those interviews next week on the show as well. So very excited to get to know some of these new guys tomorrow. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we are too. From the standpoint of everything that we've talked about, that these are the players that will eventually inherit the game, and there's some great ones. Thank you very much for joining us, my friend. It's always great to catch up with you. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
See ya. Don, before we sign off today, can you give me the voting? What do the people have in terms of Rory or Scotty?
Carl swayed them all. It's 58% now in favor of Scotty. It's a job well done, Carl Paulson.
All right, there you go. So Scotty Scheffler is a player of the year in your view, too. Thank you so much for your company, folks. Until we are together again next time. Bye for now.